Hello and welcome to Maldorma TV. I'm Tobias Alberg and this is episode 18.
And I'm Magnus Alberg. And this is the fourth part in a series where we have covered our journey to India. And in the first 3 episodes we talked about when we were in the area around Nainital, in the Himalayan mountains, where we visited ashrams of Ninkarola Baba, Sombari Baba and Harikam Baba.
Yes, and in this episode we're going to talk about our visit to Rishikesh and some surrounding areas, and also to Dharamsala, the home of the Dalai Lama.
For those of you who have listened to the first 3 parts, you might have noticed that we had quite powerful spiritual experience over there, especially in the Ninkarola Baba ashram and Harikam Baba ashram. And we felt really strongly connected to spirituality and was in an amazing spiritual mood, so to speak, when we left Nainital. And we're really looking forward to Rishikesh, where we were looking forward to see what would happen there.
Yeah, and I hadn't read that much about Rishikesh now how it is in modern times.
Yeah.
I've heard of Rishikesh from reading the autobiography by Sri M, where he talks about Rishikesh, and it's really romantically written.
Yeah.
So I had quite high expectations when I was going there.
Yeah, and it's a spiritual center and have been for a long time. And we had also received a lot of synchronicities that we should visit the Divine Life Society in Rishikesh. So we were quite excited to go to Rishikesh and, as I said, continue our journey, and hopefully it will be even better than Nainital, which had been blown away by the first week in India.
Yeah, it had been an amazing week, so our expectations were sky high. So I think when we arrived to Rishikesh, we came to another reality than we had expected.
Yeah, it was a place full of tourism. It was full exploited. It didn't feel spiritual at all when we came there, and I was actually quite disappointed the first days that it was nothing like I expected. I didn't. Yeah, it was only tourism and bunch of stuff that felt shallow, and they didn't have that genuine feeling to it. Yeah, basically.
The most of the things that you will find in Rishikesh is the yoga retreats and the yoga courses where you can learn yoga. And when you think of the word yoga, I mean, in the Western world, you think about the postures that you do. It's more of a physical exercise than going deep within. So, but going to India, I thought that yoga was going to be something else. It was going to be the real yoga, if you will, where you go, where the goal is to find the truth within. So when I arrived to Rishikesh, I was a bit surprised that all you could find and all you could see there was these yoga retreats where they focus only on the physical yoga.
And a bunch of fake sadhus that are pretty much hidden beggars and junkies that are they dress like sadhus just to get money, and you could really feel that they're trying to rip you off and things like that. So I didn't see the Rishikesh that I was expecting, and it made me really disappointed. It was something else entirely.
Yeah, it felt like it was on many levels trying to take advantage of all the tourism there. To make sure all the tourists empty their pockets and they get paid. That's in our honest opinion what it felt like when we came there, the first impression at least.
That was the first impression, and I kind of went into a mode where I felt really disappointed. I mean, deeply, and didn't know what to do next, and my only hope in this town was the Divine Life Society, basically. And I think we headed over there quite soon.
I think we visited Ganga Mira first, so maybe we should cover that first.
Yeah, sure.
But Yeah, the Divine Life Society was still there, of course, fully active. So when we arrived to Rishikesh, we drove past the Divine Life Society.
Yeah.
And you could see the huge amount of buildings, how big this ashram actually was.
Yeah, it's huge actually.
Yeah. So that was interesting to see. But as you said earlier, when I arrived to Rishikesh, I was also really disappointed, and because we had such amazing experiences in Nainital, thought that would continue, and then you come to Rishikesh, it's exploited, it's a lot of tourists over there. So I felt exactly the same thing, and for me, I thought, well, okay, what I'm going to do here for a full week, or something like that. But I think the first night when we went out, we found this flyer where Ganga Mira, who's was the wife of Papaji.
Yeah, and Papaji was a devotee, fully realized devotee of Ramana Maharshi.
Yeah, and she was holding satsangs. So we decided to go to one of her satsangs.
Yeah.
I think this was the second or third day in Rishikesh.
Yeah.
And when we came over there, it was quite a lot of people. Sitting around her, and she was giving talks, and I just remember that the main focus of her satsang, of her talk, was to just try to not identify with the mind, whatever comes to you, if it's even emotions, because thoughts are emotions are just products of thoughts that the body reacts to. So just see it as, if a thought comes to mind, just let it float by. If an emotion comes by, just observe it. Don't act on it. Don't act on the thoughts. So I thought I really liked the satsang with Ganga Mira.
Yeah, I liked it too. But to be honest, I didn't really connect the way I did in Nainital, even though we were at this beautiful satsang with Ganga Mira and she was talking about. Personally, I didn't really connect. I think I still was in this disappointment mode, basically. So it was nice, but I was hoping for more.
Yeah, and I mean, Ganga Mira was really good.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but I think a lot of the things that she brought up was things that Papaji had talked about, that we had read about, and Ramana Maharshi has talked about. So for me at least, it was nothing new. Even though it was an amazing experience to be in her presence and to hear it from such a person. So I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah.
And I really liked her way of describing the thoughts like an ocean. Or if you look at the ocean, sometimes it's waves crashing and there's a lot of noise. Sometimes the ocean can be still.
Yeah.
The thoughts can be a lot less. But still, you just watch it. You don't get into the water. You just stand on the shore and watch the thoughts. Yeah. So I thought that was a beautiful way of explaining it.
Yeah, and I think also she was very loving person, and she laughed a lot and was really easygoing and had this great energy around her. So she was great, but I couldn't connect personally to my spiritual core. I know what happened. I had closed down when I came to Rishikesh.
Yeah.
Really strange experience.
Yeah, I had experienced something similar. What I really liked though during the Ganga Mira was to see other people when she talked to them and tried to, and they understood it for the first time. Yeah. And you could see the light bulb getting lit in their heads, and it was like a aha moment for them. So that was cool to see. Yeah. But Ganga Mira, I think it was really nice. Very nice experience, but I think both of us were a bit disconnected, so it could have been better if we were fully there, if you will.
Yeah, she was fully there. It was myself that was the problem at the moment, but it's okay.
Yeah, and that's, I don't know, I mean, that leads us into one topic where it's so easy to be there when you have all these experiences like we had in Nainital, but then you go to Rishikesh and you expect something and it doesn't happen and you let it pull you down. So
and you kind of, because one of the teachings from one of my experiences in the Harikam Baba ashram was that it doesn't really matter where you are, it's everywhere. but I needed the permission slip, the right circumstance to connect to that. And this was just a few days after that. I think we left Nainital the day after the Harikan Baba Ashram experience that I had. But just a few days after, it seems like I had forgotten completely that teaching, because once again I found myself in an environment that I didn't think was the right one, and I couldn't connect.
I mean, that happens to all of us, I think. Yeah. I mean, it's so easy to, when you're sitting in front of the statue of Maharaji Nimkaroli Baba, you have such devotion for him. It's so easy. It just comes naturally. Yeah. Then you are put in an environment where it's fully exploited and tourists is everywhere, and
everyone is trying to scam you.
Yeah, exactly. Like you're going on the street, everyone wants to have money from you. They want to scam you. So it's really hard to be in that spiritual, find the spiritual heart in those moments.
Yeah, and I was still, hunting this connection, going to Ganga Mira, and then we went to the Divine Life Society, and I thought, well, perhaps it's going to happen over there again. So I was in this chasing mode, basically.
Yeah, I think also I experienced something similar.
Yeah.
Should we talk about Divine Life Society?
Yeah, we went to the Divine Life Society, one of the really big ashrams in Rishikesh. It was founded by Swami Vivekananda, great being, and he passed away, but they still have the successor of Swami Sivananda.
Yeah.
Swami Sivananda. Did I say Vivekananda?
I think so.
Yeah.
That's like a different guy.
Yeah, that's a completely different guy. Swami Sivananda is correct. And then his successor was Swami Chitananda, I think, who was also a great being. And now they have their third president. And I had an intuitive feeling that we were supposed to meet the president, and that we had to go to the Sivananda Ashram, Divine Life Society. So I had high expectations for that place, that was the place that would do it in Rishikesh. So we went there, and it was a beautiful place. And we walked around, but I didn't really connect that much. It felt good, but...
we arrived there, and I think the first day we just walked around the ashram. We didn't take part in any of the activities.
Yeah.
But I really liked the quotes that you could find around the ashram with quotes from Sivananda. Yeah,
there are these signs with quotes of Sivananda that are really beautiful. And the main hall in the ashram is also beautiful, where the statue of him is. And it's a beautiful ashram. And if you're in Rishikesh, you have to go there. Great energy is there. But I didn't have the same strong connection as I had in Nainital. It wasn't really the same thing. But we walked around the area, and suddenly I saw an old man walking with his caretaker.
Yeah.
And I thought, isn't that the president? Because I knew that I had the synchronicities before the trip that we perhaps were going to meet him. And sure enough, it was the president walking, having a walk with his assistant. It's quite an old man. So we went up to him and talked to him and took some photographs with him, and it was really nice. Man asked us where we came from and what we're doing here in India and things like that.
Yeah, you could see that. I mean, he had something. His heart was very warm. He was a beautiful person.
Yeah.
And it was truly an honor and a privilege to meet him.
Yeah.
So, and I think we were really lucky that he was out walking just on that particular time when we were there. So really thankful for that, and a really beautiful experience.
And also what happened during that experience when we met him, immediately afterwards, it felt like I had this strong feeling that now I don't need to be here anymore. This was it. This was the reason why I should come here, just to meet this man. Nothing particular happened. I just had a strong feeling that, well, nothing more is going to happen here. This was it. But something did happen, because I didn't notice it in the beginning, but I started to understand that it wasn't the environment that was wrong. It was my
state of being.
Yeah, my own state of being, how I looked at Rishikesh. And this shifted after Divine Life Society because I didn't have an spiritual experience there. I didn't have the strong connection that I was hoping for. So initially, the Divine Life Society was also a disappointment to me because I didn't experience the things I had experienced in Nainital. But I realized that, okay, it's not up to Maharaji or Harikan Baba or someone else any longer. It's about me. I need to go there myself. So it was another step on the journey where I needed to learn how to go into these states of being by myself, no matter what. And it felt like that was the teaching that we received in Divine Life Society, not in words, but just in feelings, that I started to understand, okay, this is up to me now. And it's nothing wrong with Rishikesh. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I would love to go there again, perhaps with a more
and I think
mind now, if you will.
Yeah, and all the tourists and all the scammers are part of God and the divine as well. And we needed to see that in this environment as well, that this is also divine.
Yeah, I mean, I read a quote from a spiritual teacher called Robert Adams that we have talked about before, I think, where he says that he had people come to his satsang, and the people visiting Robert said that, yeah, I feel so good when I'm in satsang with you. I forget about all the world's problems. But then his reply to what was that everything in life is satsang.
Yeah.
When you go visit a beggar on the streets, that's satsang.
Yeah.
See life fully as the truth in everything.
Yeah.
That's just when you're sitting in front of a realized person.
Yeah.
So I think that rings true in our conversation here now as well about Rishikesh, that you'll have to see it in everything, even the good and the bad.
Yeah.
But I really liked the Sivananda ashram when we did some kirtan there as well.
Yeah.
Perhaps not the kirtan that we are familiar with from Krishnadas and so forth, but it was really nice to do the kirtan. Really loving experience. And we also went to evening satsang in the Divine Life Society.
Yeah.
And there I have to say, not perhaps during the satsang itself, but during the last moment when they closed down the satsang and all the devotees in the ashram came into the main temple, if you will.
Yeah.
And everyone was paying tribute to Sivananda.
Yeah.
In that moment when everyone was doing that there I felt a real connection.
Yeah.
And I felt that whatever they are doing at the Divine Life Society it's true, and it's coming from the right energy, and it will lead to the truth.
Yeah.
I honestly believe that the Divine Life Society is a beautiful place to stay. So I would actually love to, at some moment, perhaps in the future, to stay at the ashram full time, to live there.
Yeah.
So for me, at least, I think that wasn't really supposed to happen, something there at that moment, but I felt a little bit of a connection to Divine Life Society.
Yeah.
That I should go back there.
And I felt the same after the meeting with the president. As I said, I started to understand that, okay, it's nothing wrong with Rishikesh or Divine Life Society. I need to change my perspective on things. So I started to do that, and Rishikesh turned out to be a great experience. Not as we didn't visit ashrams that much. We didn't go to that many places. We pretty much hanged out with. We were traveling with our friend Niklas, and his girlfriend was already in Rishikesh. So we met up with her, and we went out for dinner and things like that. And it was really nice. And gradually, I started to reconnect again.
Yeah.
Just by allowing it to happen, no matter what circumstance, basically.
Yeah, we didn't really. I mean, we had quite before the journey. We had quite a strict idea of where we wanted to go and what we wanted to do. So we kind of forgot about it. So let's just take the day as it approaches.
Yeah.
And as you said, that's when you started to feel the connection again.
Yeah. So it was really about learning how to connect no matter what circumstance. But we did do some more journeys. We went to the Nilkant temple. We also went to we rented some scooters and went to caves that was just outside of Rishikesh called Vashishta Cave and Arundhati Cave.
Yeah, and the reason why we wanted to go there is we had read about these two caves from the Sri M autobiography.
Yeah.
He used to stay there with his guru, or on two occasions.
Yeah.
One time when he went to the Himalayas for the first time. Then he stayed in one of the caves with his guru.
Yeah.
And I don't know why, but I really like the caves. I really like sitting in the caves and meditating. Maybe it's a permission slip. We talk a lot about that, but I seems to get a real calm when I sit in these caves. It's quiet, it's dark, and you can just focus on going inwards.
Yeah.
And also, I think it was really just to imagine while we were sitting in one of the caves where Sri M and his guru had been, just to think, a thought came up like, he's been here. He's been here with his guru.
Yeah.
It's like, now I'm here. It's a cool connection just to,
be in the same places.
Yeah, to be in the place where you read about all these cool stories.
Yeah. But for me, Rishikesh didn't deliver the way Nainital had when it came to the experiences in the ashrams and the environments. But as I said, when I realized it was up to me, I started to connect again. And then I had actually 3 experiences in Rishikesh as well. But just in everyday life, none of them happened in an ashram. The first one happened was when I was sitting and renting the scooter in the office. And suddenly I felt this shift, reality shift. I can't really explain it, but I felt that something happened, something shifted. So it was a subtle spiritual experience that just happened while I was renting scooters on the main street in Rishikesh. No ashram, no temples, no holy people around in that sense. So I started to realize that, okay, now I'm starting to get it for real, that circumstances doesn't really matter. It's just permission slips, as we talked about in the previous episode. And then the second experience was when I was out walking by myself on the Lakshman Jula Bridge. I came into this high state of being that resembled the one that I had in Ninkarol Baba Ashram, Kanchidam, where I just went into this really happy state of mind and just walking around on clouds, basically. Feeling quite high in a way. And then the last experience was when we were in a restaurant eating a meal in the evening. I think it was perhaps the last day or something like that. We were all 4 of us, and suddenly I had this experience that everything was an illusion. That it felt, my experience felt unreal. That it was just beingness condensed into form, basically.
Yeah, it's interesting you bring it up because I had it at the same dinner, the same experience. Actually, it's I don't know how to explain it, but you just look around and you look at everything. You just have this really strong intuitive feeling that like this, everything is made up. Yeah. It's not real. It's just an illusion. Yeah. It's like you're looking at a painting, and the only thing that's actually real is the self. There's all this walking around, all this, the world, basically. It's just
and when you have these experiences, I mean, I had the experience on psychedelics prior to this, but this was just sitting there eating dinner and then just see that everything is just beingness that takes the form of our experience. But it's really an extension of yourself, and it's really weird experience. It felt like I was in this bubble, basically, and it's not that it feels bad. It feels really good that everything is an illusion, because sometimes people feel that, well, is everything a dream? They feel depressed, but it's not that way. You connect to the true nature of things, basically, the divine nature of things. So all my experiences in Rishikesh was in everyday situations.
Yeah, same here. I think I had, as you explained, also just these moments where I walking down by myself down the road and just my heart opened up.
Yeah.
I just started looking at everyone from just feeling love towards everyone from within, like allowing it to pour through.
Yeah, and I think that's the key word, allowing it, because we were allowing it in Nainital in the right circumstances, but then we closed down when it came to Rishikesh and saw all the tourists and exploitation, but we realized basically after a few days that we need to allow it everywhere. Yeah. And when we did that, things started to happen again, and we reconnected quite big time in a way. And I also remember one experience in Rishikesh. Our friend's girlfriend Elin, her yoga teacher and the priest held a ritual for us. A mukti, I don't remember what it was called.
Homa mukti homa.
Yeah, something like that. It was a kind of an enlightenment ritual that we had in the evening down by the river Ganga, and it was beautiful. And I felt a huge connection to the river Ganga. That river is really something.
Yeah, yeah, I agree 100%.
Yeah.
From the first time I took a dip in the Ganga River, I felt something. Maybe it's permission slips again.
Yeah,
you never know. But
probably, but
I'll allow the permission slip for this time. I mean, I really like the river, and I really got a beautiful connection, especially during the ceremony that we did as well.
Yeah.
And sitting also when you were watching it during the night, just feeling the flow of the river just going past in the evening light. I think that was just beautiful.
So Rishikesh, the week in Rishikesh became a real beautiful week. We didn't really do the kind of hardcore spiritual stuff that we did in Nainital, but we didn't need to. We took day by day, and because when we were in Nainital, we planned the entire week. We were going to go there and there and there and there. In Rishikesh, we just took every day as it came. And we went to a kirtan with some Hare Krishna guys. It was beautiful one day, and we went to Ganga Mira and the Vanilla site, and some days we were just shopping and hanging out.
Yeah, I think the main lesson is, I mean, from the learning experience from Rishikesh, I mean, it's really easy to go and, okay, now I'm spiritual.
Yeah.
And then you go back to, now I'm not spiritual. Okay, now I sit and meditate. Now I'm being spiritual. Then you go back to being non-spiritual.
Making everything spiritual.
Yeah, making every moment in life a spiritual moment.
Yeah.
Because that's what it is. It's every moment. Life is the spirituality. The experience is the spirituality. It's not when you're sitting in the temple and connecting with Neem Karoli Baba. It's everything you do, and it's the thing that's important is that you allow it and you allow yourself to see it as well.
Yeah,
I think that was the main lesson from Rishikesh.
Yeah, and it felt like Nainital was opening up, having the first experiences, and then Rishikesh was, integrating and understanding that it's everywhere. Yeah. So in a way, Rishikesh was a big time experience in a whole.
Yeah. I think, should we leave Rishikesh for now and go? The last stop that we had on our journey was to Dharamsala.
Oh, one interesting thing that I want to mention, that when we lived in Rishikesh, we lived neighbor to a temple of Diorya Baba, a beautiful temple, and then we left for Dharamsala, and then we lived neighbor to a Buddhist temple. So we were living next to temples, and I don't think it was a coincidence.
No, but it happened spontaneously. We didn't really we want to live next to a temple. We just took it, and the same thing happened in Dharamsala. It was a hotel right next to a Buddhist temple, as you mentioned. So that was interesting in itself.
Yeah.
But Dharamsala, the first impression from Dharamsala was it's similar to Rishikesh in one way, except it's more focused on Buddhism, of course.
Yeah.
But there's
it's quieter in a way and more calm.
Yeah.
There's another mentality and to the Tibetan Buddhists than to the Indians. It's different. It's not better or worse in any way. It's different. but it's still a lot of things were the same.
Yeah, and just as in Rishikesh, there was a lot of tourists over there as well. And we didn't really have any plans of what we wanted to do.
No.
We knew about the Dalai Lama monastery, of course.
Yeah, we went there.
Yeah, so we went down there, and it's a beautiful place.
Yeah, really beautiful place.
Yeah, I really liked it. And it was also really interesting to see a lot of the Tibetan Buddhists were there doing their practice. So
yeah.
It was interesting to hear them do their prayers and their practice.
Yeah.
And also quite interesting to see that I don't want to say a lot, but some of the Buddhists were Westerners.
Yeah.
So that was also interesting to see that there's actually quite a few Westerners who go there and do the full-time practice as a Tibetan Buddhist.
I think Buddhism has a stronger attraction to Westerners than Hinduism. In a way, it's more. I think it has to do with the gods. That Westerners tend to shy away from all the different kinds of gods in Hinduism. They don't realize that they are pretty much just symbols. Anyway, but a lot of Westerners in Dharamsala, and we went to the Dalai Lama temple. It was beautiful. We went also to the Gyoto monks temple monastery.
Gyoto monastery.
Yeah, also a very beautiful place. But Dharamsala, we pretty much like Rishikesh. We didn't have any plans. We just hanged out for a week, took day by day, and enjoyed life.
Yeah,
pretty much.
That was pretty much it. Nothing too spectacular to talk about. I mean, every moment we were there, we just trying to enjoy the day as much.
Yeah,
day by day. I just want to mention briefly, because I think it's something that I read when walking into the monastery, the Dalai Lama monastery, that on some degree touched me. Was when I read about because it was a Panchen Lama. The Chinese government has kidnapped one of the Panchen Lama is right-hand man to the Dalai Lama, if you will.
Okay.
So they have kidnapped him the day after, or just a few days after he was assigned from the Dalai Lama. So the Chinese government has this young kid kidnapped for so many years now.
They took him when he was a kid, basically.
Yeah, 7-8 years old or something.
Perhaps he's in his 20s now. I don't remember.
Yeah, and he's still in captivity. So this is still ongoing. So I just want to put that into the podcast. Hopefully, make you aware of this, that it's still happening, and just to spread the word of the causes that the Tibetan Buddhism has to are working with, if you will.
Yeah, they are suppressed people, and they're still refugees, not living in their own country, Tibet. So that's a big tragedy, and hopefully they will be able to return home one day.
Yeah. So I don't know how much more we are supposed to talk about Dharamsala. Is there anything you want to mention more?
Not really. Dharamsala was just, like integrating everything that we had learned during the first 2 weeks and just relax and land. Because it had been a really powerful journey, to say the least. I had my first strong spiritual experiences that didn't involve psychedelics. And also, I must also mention that after this journey, something has most definitely happened. I have a much easier to connect now in everyday life. I can talk with a friend or have a walk or do my dishes, and suddenly I'm just there, fully connected. And it's and this happened after India or during India, and it's still happening.
Yeah, and that's the interesting thing, that India does things to you.
Yeah.
I mean, just being in India, taking in the culture, being in that energy, in that surrounding, things start to happen with you. Things boil up from deep within that you have to deal with. It can be, you go through emotions, you go through a lot many things just by being in India. I don't know how to explain it in any logical way, but the presence, just being in India, really changes you in a lot of ways.
Yeah. And one way that it was quite apparent was that we landed, when it came to India, we landed in New Delhi, and we really hated the place. It was crowded and warm and dirty and all that. But when we came back to New Delhi the last day, after being in Nainital, Rishikesh and Dharamsala, we kind of liked it because our state of being had changed.
Yeah,
so we had a beautiful last day in New Delhi, basically.
I just remember going in the rickshaws. And I mean, it's madness. The traffic in the main streets in New Delhi, it's absolutely madness.
Anarchy.
It's anarchy, but I could just sit there and enjoy it. Be in this madness. It was dirty, it was loud, it was horns going from all directions, but
it's beautiful.
Still beautiful.
Still the same.
Yeah, still loved it.
Yeah.
So, as you said, it was just a completely different perspective that we came to New Delhi the second time we arrived there.
Yeah. So
and we also got some beautiful instruments.
We bought
harmonium.
Yeah, we went to the
drums.
Bina music store and went some tabla drums and harmoniums.
And that was also when we were. You have the bicycle rickshaws.
Yeah.
Going to Old Delhi. These narrow streets.
And electrical cables hanging. It's just insane. I don't understand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's a different reality from what you're used to in the West.
Yeah, for sure.
In some way, it's so charming. There's something to it that's just so charming, and
it is chaos that works, basically, and it's beautiful in a way.
Yeah.
I also want to mention that after India, I have noticed a big change in my meditations. When I meditate, I go way deeper than I was ever used to do before India. I don't know why. Something happened, and pretty much every time I meditate, it's a real deep experience, in contrary to before India.
I think what has happened to me mainly is what I have noticed is that I'm not reacting as much as before to things that happen around me, and I'm also able to see the things happening around me is just a mirror of myself, of within. It's like if I'm going through a certain emotion, I can see that emotion playing out in the external world as well, and I'm fully aware of it in a different level than I was before.
You're witnessing it. It still happens, but you're witnessing it, and you just allow it to play out, and it kind of gets weaker and weaker. And also, I feel I had this instant when I saw the complete divinity in an everyday situation, and things like this happen at least on a weekly basis, if not an everyday basis, that I have small experiences, almost not every day, but quite frequently and this is everything started to happen after India. So it was the best journey of my life.
I mean, it's if I had to explain it in a sentence, I would say India has made me more conscious of what happens around me. Conscious to my meditation, conscious to my what I did when I came home is I also went on a fast.
Yeah.
And that really helped as well. It was just interesting to see how much, maybe I'm going off topic here, but how much I became aware of what happens in the body.
Yeah.
How much just being without food, how much that is mental. Just being more conscious to everything in my mind and in my body. So that was India changes you in a way.
Yeah. Well, basically the big lesson was that we had to go to India to realize that we don't need India to be connected. But
but sometimes you need to do it just to understand it, and that's
you need the permission slip
in theory, but there's a really big advantage of going there if you have if you have the pull and the desire to go to India, you should most definitely go there.
Yeah. And we will return, even though we learned that we can stay connected at home as well. I want to go there again because it's beautiful and it's wonderful, and why not?
Yeah, why not? I mean, what we're looking for, that's something within, and that's available all within us, and at every location at every given time. So it's just a matter of allowing it. So do we have anything additional to bring up from our journey?
I think that's it basically.
Yeah. So really thankful that you have listened to this 4-parter where we have covered our journey to India. We'll be sure to try to do more episodes in the future on different subjects. We'll see what we end up with. As always, go to Maldorma.com if you want to see more episodes and all our material that we have created, articles, books, and so forth. Yeah, and now I know we have been saying this for a long time that Tobias' book is coming out in English, but now it is coming out. Within actually 1 or 2 months, it will be available to buy on Amazon. For real this time.
For real. It's pretty much finished. Yeah. And also on our website, you will find our other books and all the stuff that we put out there. So thank you for listening. Yeah, be sure to check it out. Thank you very much. Bye. Bye-bye.